With the extra point, this is Erik McKinney, joined by Katz. Greg, let's talk a little special teams. What's the one aspect of special teams heading into this 2020 season that you're most interested in seeing?
Well, I'm really interested, believe it or not, in seeing the change, if there is a change per se, with sophomore punter Ben Griffiths. You know, there's been a lot of questions on how he was handled last year under John Baxter. Well, he's gone. Baxter's gone. But now you have a real special teams coach with a expertise in punting in Sean Snyder. He's in the Kansas State Hall of Fame. He's a former All-America punter. And by everyone's account, he really knows what he's doing. So what does that mean? What does it mean? It means that last season, it appeared that Griffiths was more being told to, kick it out of bounds, kick it short. And we all saw in practice that he had a leg like a bazooka. And that ball would hang up there. I'm surprised it didn't come down with raindrops, and it was like going from LA to New York. And of course, when he got in the games, you look at his average and it was like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. We watched practice booming 45-yard kicks or better. And then in the games, it's almost like they over-strategized a major weapon. And I think, and this is what I'm really curious about, is Ben Griffiths finally going to appear in a game and really change field position? I mean, take it, kid, and boot it as far and as high as you can, and we'll get downfield and do it. And by all accounts, Sean Snyder's special teams, especially on punting, have been exceptional. And so I'm going to be watching the strategy and how Ben Griffiths plays. It'll be interesting to hear him talk later on about what's going on. And it's intriguing to me.
Yeah, I love when Sean Snyder talks, the way he talks about returns and creating big plays in the return game. And that's, touchdown returns, punt and kickoff. That's not the top thing for me. I like that. I like that idea, but I think the USC offense is going to be good enough where if you don't always give them huge field position, they'll still be able to move the ball. So I'm looking at the other side. The thing that stands out more than anything to me about last year's special teams, 130th in kickoff coverage. If you're at USC, you can't finish last in any category where you're trying to finish first. That is just unacceptable. So that, I think, is the part that I'm going to be watching. And because, again, when you're looking at USC defense, USC offense, if you have more faith in that offense, being the second year, having Keaton Slovis, being able to move the ball, the bigger thing is going to be making other teams go a long way on defense. And that means your kickoff coverage unit shutting them down, keeping them inside the 25 repeatedly, not giving up, 2 touchdown returns and I think a 95-yard return or whatever the Arizona State return was last year. That is something that needs to be shored up in a big way. And I'm really interested to see how quickly Sean Snyder can make an impact on that, on a stat that is absolutely mind-boggling. If you're a USC fan, or even I think if you're a USC player, kind of how does this keep happening? So again, the kickoff coverage for me, and I think there's a lot of different special teams units that are worth watching under Sean Snyder, and Ben Griffiths is a great choice. But keeping opponents having to go a long field, especially if you're kicking off, it's usually after a score. That's going to be, I think, a big thing for this 2020 USC team.